Oh dear. Same old story, really, isn't it, with Villa this season at home? Uh, yeah. Well, firstly, for any Ipswich Town fans who are watching and are going to get annoyed if I don't compliment them, well, I think Ipswich did a really good job defensively. I mean, to go down to 10 men, uh, what was it, about 35th minute mark, somewhere around then, with Axel Swanzeba going off. And then to hold out, and not only just hold out, but to actually get a goal so doesn't go in front is really impressive stuff. When you've got a striker like Liam Delap, there's always a chance. Amari Hutchinson as well is a good player. And defensively, they did really well. As the goalkeeper, wasn't it? Alex Palmer, absolutely fantastic performance from him. At one point, it felt like it was him versus Marco Asensio. And full credit, really, to Ipswich for getting the job done. As for Aston Villa, well, sums us up this season, doesn't it? You can't really trust them. You can't. Too many games this season. Bournemouth 1-0 up, conceded 94th minute, 1-1. Brighton 2-2, Crystal Palace 2-2, Ipswich Town now 1-1. If Villa aren't going to get even Europe this season, I don't think we're going to get Champions League. I've been thinking this for a while now. We're not going to get it. But Europe now looks like questionable. If we don't get it, it's games like this. It's all the games I've just mentioned. It's all the draws we keep having at home in games that, quite frankly, we concede all the time. We constantly concede, always look vulnerable. It doesn't matter if the other team go down to 10 men. It doesn't matter if they're in the bottom three. It doesn't matter if they have the double whammy of being in the bottom three and going down to 10 men. Aston Villa will concede a goal at some point. I still don't know what it is. I don't know whether it. I mean, even today, it's not even like it's a counter attack. It's not that we're all over the place. We're in a fairly solid shape. It's a crossfield ball to Amari Hutchinson, goes 1-on-1 with Matson, gets to the byline, gets it across. Mings doesn't look particularly sharp going towards it. Doesn't look particularly. McGinn's in there, Disasi's in there, and then Delap. Delap, as I said, Delap is a quality striker. I think he potentially could be, Champions League level club at some point. He looks that level potentially. So, like I say, it was as I said at the top of this, massive credit to Ipswich for what they did, and I think it was brilliant from Hutchinson and Delap. But that said, Villa had enough in defence to deal with that, and it's just a consistent pattern. And I've said this enough times now. It goes all the way back to Boxing Day, December 2023, when we're 2-0 up against Manchester United. They come back and win 3-2. And what happened from then? The amount of games where we've gone 2-0 up and conceded, and it's gone to 3-0 to 3-2, 2-2 to 2, 2-0 to 2-2, 3-0 to 3-2. Last season it was Brentford, it was Nottingham Forest, it was Chelsea, whole variety of games, Burnley even, and that pattern has continued into this season. So is it a personnel thing? Is it a setup thing? Is it a concentration thing? Is it? I have absolutely no idea. We just concede too many goals, and that is what's going to cost us. We're also apparently 16 goals behind where we should have been, or where we were this time last season. That would suggest to me other teams have probably worked this out a bit, so it's a bit harder to, break teams down. So that's one aspect of it, but also, maybe missing Diaby, Louise, maybe just in those respects, maybe that's making a difference. Who knows? But ultimately, you look at the stats. Expected goals: Aston Villa 2, Ipswich 0.36. 75% possession to Villa, 24 to Ipswich, 25 shots to Villa, 4 to Ipswich, but only 6 on target, 3 on target for Ipswich. So I think man of the match has to be the Ipswich keeper. He had a fantastic game. Made loads of saves. And as I said, for a period of time, it looked like him versus Marco Asensio. Great goal from Watkins. Brilliant free kick from Rashford. Great reaction from Watkins for that. I sort of felt first half the energy levels weren't quite there. I think we were lucky for Ipswich to go down to 10 men because it felt like there was a sucker punch coming. I thought when they went down to 10 men, I thought surely even this defence, which always concedes, won't concede now. Oh no. Oh no. And last season, if we conceded, we tended to have had 3 goals already. This season, that isn't the case. It isn't the case. So we're not getting away with conceding more goals or conceding goals this season, as we're not scoring as many either. So yeah, just mid-table. That's just what it is. It's mid-table, and I've been waiting for Aston Villa to find form. I think there's you can say there's a game volume I think has really disrupted and interrupted us and been a problem. I think the injuries are a nightmare. We constantly having to change the back line all the time. So that obviously plays into why we concede so many goals as well. But, Kamara going off as well today. So again, it's all mixed up. But still, we've had a week off really, haven't we, to play this game. So that's not really particularly an excuse today. It's just didn't take a chances and they took theirs. So they're one chance. So simple as that, really. And we'll always give you a goal. And so if you're playing Aston Villa, just defend well because we'll give you a goal. So yeah, it's Fulham are now ahead of us in the league. We're down to 9th. Brighton are behind us on 1 point behind us. Fulham ahead by 1 point. Newcastle, they lost badly today against City. They've had a couple of bad losses. We haven't taken advantage of it. Our last 4 games, 3 draws, 1 loss. So we're not 1 now in 5. Chelsea, they're in terrible form. Again, we're not taking advantage of that. Bournemouth now 5 points ahead of us. Chelsea 5 points ahead of us. Man City 6 points ahead of us. So top 4, forget it. It's not happening because we're not capable of getting going on the winning streaks that we need to do. Newcastle have had a winning streak this season. Newcastle have had Nottingham Forest had a winning streak. Villa don't seem capable of it because we just don't. I mean, look, with Asensio and Rashford coming in, you can see today the absolute quality they bring. It's kind of borderline miraculous we didn't get a second goal, but got to give credit to the Ipswich keeper. Really pulled off some fantastic saves. But yeah, it's just really, really frustrating. Any positives? I thought Andres Garcia looks a good player. Very solid signing. I think going into the final third, he looks a much more natural attacking talent than I think Cash does. We'll see when we have to play more defensive games like Liverpool this week, Chelsea next week when they come at us a bit more. We'll see how he copes in those scenarios. But overall, so far, what we're seeing from Garcia, so good. He looks like a natural for us. I thought Tielemans looked tired. I thought he had a pretty poor game, actually, Tielemans. And I thought Rodgers, again, wasn't really able to impact the game in the way he normally can. It was one of them games where, again, I thought he just looked a bit tired. Rashford looked sharp. I think obviously 1 or 2 passes were a bit awry, but he had 1 or 2 moments of absolute quality that really should have led to a goal. I mean, the moment where he goes down the left at the very end, I mean, how that's not gone in, again, brilliant from the keeper to save it. But and Asensio, again, 1 or 2 moments, great ball into Rodgers for a header. Amazing save from the keeper to keep him out on 2 occasions. So yeah, but as I say, defensively, we're not up to it. We concede goals all the time. So that's why we're almost certainly not going to get Champions League this season and why we're in a real dogfight now to even get Europe. Oh, well. So let's go to the comments. Another Villa podcast by Gig Sharma. Hello, Frankie. Hugely disappointing result. Liam Delap, best outfield player on the pitch today. He's certainly up there. He's going to the top, Delap. From the first moment I watched him for Ipswich, I thought he has a great stride on him. He's physical. He holds the ball up. He's clearly has a real. He's a poacher. He has a. He knows where to be. He just knows when to get in front of a defender. Knows when to score. He's high. He has the lot. And I think were Villa to actually get Europe this season, and were we to, we sold Duran. Were we to be in need of a striker this summer, I would love to think that Liam Delap would be high on our priority list. I think he has elements of Duran and Watkins about him. But, Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, they're all going to be looking for strikers as well. So I think he's going to go to a top team. And if we're not in the Champions League, if we're not in Europe, he ain't going to come to Villa next season. That's just sadly probably how it is. David Evans, forget Europe through the league. Well, yeah. I mean, we're making it really bloody hard for ourselves. Really hard for ourselves. We have been all season. We don't win games we should be winning at home. Simple as that. Gig Sharma, that Champions League place gone. Yeah, that's how I feel about it right now. You just can't draw like games like that when you're against a 10-man team in the bottom three for 60 minutes. Andy Matt, we won't challenge in the league with that consistency. We are way too soft. Yeah, I mean, something's got to go back to the drawing board defensively this summer because like I say, defensively we're too weak. We're too vulnerable. If we're going into every single game thinking we're going to concede, and then we do, well, something's clearly wrong. Either it's our setup, either it's a structural problem, it's a personnel issue. I don't know exactly what it is. I can't even put my finger on it because it feels like we concede all types of goals. So in the end, it's down to the well-paid sporting directors and staff, the coaching staff at Villa to work it out what it is, because it beats me what it is. It really does. Duncan Kilburn, utter garbage v 10-man relegation side. Only the new players performed. Premier League right off the season. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was only the new players, showed any kind of real impetus to get anything going, really, I think. David Maskell, so inconsistent. Yeah, we are. Another Villa podcast by Gig Sharma. Why can't we keep clean sheets? Yeah. I don't know. As I said just there, I don't know. Matson again, a lie on the crossing. Yeah. I mean, it's good work. In fairness to Amari Hutchinson, it's very good work from him. It is. He's a very good player, Hutchinson. I really rate him. I think he's somebody who he's good at getting to the ball, but he's also good at cutting in on his left and whipping a shot in. I think he's he'll, whatever happens with Ipswich this season, I wish him luck as well. I hope they stay up. I think Hutchinson is a Premier League player. Same. No, I feel. Glenn Victor Lundstrom, good to see you again, Glenn. 60-minute 10 men should be winning that easy. What the fook? Yeah. Like I say, 60 minutes against bottom three team. We ain't. That's it. That sums it up, really, doesn't it? As I say, please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Subscriptions really help us keep on growing. It helps us get better interviews. The more numbers you have, the more the channel grows, and you can get, guests on who can enrich it and all that kind of stuff as well. So, yeah, that really helps. If you can subscribe, please do. Took too long to get going, says Duncan. Yep, I thought we were really slow in the first half. Didn't think the energy levels were there. I think it looked a bit like a job where Villa thought they could probably just play at a bit of a half pace and get the job done, get the goal we need and go home. It's not how it works. Not how it works in the Premier League. You get caught. And it felt to me, before Axel Tuanzebe got red carded, it felt to me like a sucker punch was coming. As I say, when they went down to 10 men, I thought we'd gotten away with it. Wasn't to be. Fulham have overtaken us. Yeah, they have. And they might finish above us. They might. I mean, we've got Fulham at home still to come this season. I think in my head already, I can predict exactly what's going to happen. We'll concede a goal at some point. We'll have lots of possession. We'll probably score ourselves, but there's a very good chance we won't win it because we'll concede. Nigel Brooks, good to hear from you again, Nigel. Just watched the game from high up in the Holt end. Looked too slow in the build-up, especially before the subs. Ipswich defending magnificently, but should be winning that one. A few players off it today. Yeah, agree with absolutely everything you said there, Nigel. We were too slow in the build-up, and it felt like it took the Rashford and Asensio coming on for Villa to start to liven up and actually show some energy. They are quality players, so they're obviously going to introduce that aspect of their game as well. But yeah, build-up was slow. I thought Tielemans was really off it today. I don't know how it came across in the stadium, but to me, it looked like he was just a player who's played a lot of games and just wasn't sharp. Salon, no mind, Ipswich defended so well. Our strengths are always nullified when teams park the bus. That is true. That has been a persistent issue since Emery came into Villa, that you would say when teams do park the bus, we do have a bit of an issue breaking it down sometimes. We do look a bit like we huff and we puff and we get it out wide and we get it in and nothing really happens. But I think we did enough to get the goal, the second goal. I mean, certainly we had XG of 2 today, so we certainly did. But got to give the keeper credit as well. Did really well, man of the match. Anyway, recipe for mediocrity: unable to defend and can't score, and we are mediocre. I mean, we're not mediocre. Look, we're not. We are. we could very well go and beat Liverpool and Chelsea this week. That's just the sort of bizarre team we are. But we're certainly untrustworthy, is how I'd call us. Like Celtic, recently, yet another game where Villa 2-0 up, cruising. Why the hell would Celtic ever come back into this? No chance, surely. And then they somehow make it 2-2. Why have we given again? What is it? What is it? I have been saying the same term for a year now. I've been saying the same term for a year now. We go from looking composed to casual. And it's like we try to see out games and contain games. And then it's almost like when the other team, when the weather picks up, when, the drizzle turns into a storm and the wind blows hard and the hurricane is on its way, we stand still and we don't put a hood up. We don't just walk inside and take shelter. We don't run to get out of the rain. We just stand still. And if we go to get out of the rain, we just amble. We amble. It's something Arsenal did recently. It got talked about recently. I think Arsenal did it in a game. Can't remember who it was who they played recently, but it was a game where Man City, that was it. They won 5-1, right? But it was a period of time where it went to 1-1. And it went to 1-1 because Arsenal had just lowered the pace. It was like they were trying to see it out and just contain it and hold off. And then, Man City raised the pace, get a goal because they got the quality to get a goal. And then suddenly Arsenal's like, oh. And then they raised the pace again and suddenly they're going to score 4 goals. And Villa do this sometimes. We start fast or sometimes start fast and then we try and contain it. We try and, pass it around, conserve energy levels, and then we just get sucker punched, composed to casual. And it's been going on since Boxing Day, December 2023 at Man United when we went 2-0 up and we lost 3-2. A few days later, we played Burnley at home and we make an absolute heavy weather of it to win 3-2 in the last minute through a Douglas Luiz penalty. Then we had, Brentford where we're 2-0 up, cruising. They just turn the pace up, score 3 goals in 5 minutes. Go to 3-2. We make it 3-3 because we fight back. Nottingham Forest were 3-0 up, cruising. They make it 3-2. Luton away, 2-0 up, we're cruising, goes to 2-2. We win 3-2 in the end. Chelsea were 2-0 up. They pull it back to 2-2. It's the same thing happening over and over and over again. And then this season, the same thing's happened again, but we're not scoring as many. So we're not getting away with it when other teams are coming back and scoring these goals in the moments where we're sitting around having a pina colada, everyone's put the shades on, they're looking up at the sunshine, looking around thinking, hang on, what do you mean they've just made it 2-2? We were 2-0 up a second ago. Hang on, what happened? Well, we better do something about that. I do not get, I like to think on this channel we're level-headed, we're not a screamy, shouty. I hate podcasts like that. I really hate the culture of podcasts out there where they'll get scream and shout and say how terrible everything is. All, but what you would say about Villa in the last calendar year now is that we are simply just not good enough at keeping clean sheets. Defensively, we're not good enough. We're not good enough, and that has to improve. That is an objective fact. And it is preventing us from getting Champions League again this season. We're too far behind. The only way we're going to get it is if we're going on a mad winning run, which just looks so impossible right now and is a situation which we shouldn't be in. We should have already picked up enough of the points we've already got. We should. We should be far ahead of where we are right now, but we're just not. A few more comments. Anglo-Saxon, on to next week. 12, 13 games left. We need to win most of them. Yep, that's the case. Richard Skinner, we had the chances to win today. Their keeper was in inspired form. Yeah, absolutely. We had the chances to win. And the goalkeeper was absolutely fantastic. And like I said at the very top of the show, for any Ipswich fans watching who were annoyed at me just not giving them enough credit, I've given them loads of credit. So I think you cannot knock at all what a fantastic job they did today, defending with 10 men to keep it down to 1 goal. What a brilliant job the goalkeeper did, and what a brilliant job Hutchinson and Delap did to get that goal and what they did. But you have to look at Aston Villa and say, what, top teams win that. They do. And we have to look at Aston Villa as a top team now. We're in the Champions League. We've shown this is the level we're at now. And it is frustrating that we're not able to match that level. And it's almost more frustrating watching a team who are better than what they're showing. And yeah. Neil Nick, just not good enough against a good team. I can understand, but that's just bad. Yeah, it is bad. It is bad. 10 men for 60 minutes. It's really bad, that. Simwat, A&R needs to get on earlier in the game. Yes, I thought Asensio should have been on a bit earlier, actually. I was tempted to bring on him at half-time because I just think he had the kind of movement and nous that sort of felt against a team that was defending so deep. It's exactly his type of profile that's going to pick those passes, find a way through. It is. Mesa Verde, if you concede to Ipswich at home, who are down to 10, you don't deserve to win any game. Yeah, you don't. You don't. Like I say, full praise to Ipswich, and Delap's a brilliant player, but Villa should never be conceding in that situation. Never. But we do, and that sums up our defence. Carl McClatchy, we could not finish, but we actually played well. Chill, everyone. I think that's fair enough, Carl, in the sense that I think we're a brilliant football team. I think that's what's so frustrating. I think it's frustrating to know, because I think we're all so desperate to see Villa continue this European journey we're on. I think we all know how brilliant Villa really are. I think in the back of our minds, we have the PSR worries that we all know that if we don't get Europe, what does that mean for this summer? What does it mean for the type of players we can attract and can retain? We, as I say, we are a brilliant football team. I mean, last week we were absolutely fantastic at moments. There's been so many moments this season where Villa have been absolutely incredible going forward. We're a fantastic team, we are, but we're a very flawed team. And those flaws are costing us. And it feels like we're not fixing those flaws at all. And like I say, it's been going on for a calendar year now. And it is very, very frustrating to continue to watch the same thing happen all the time, where you're 2-0 up against Celtic and I don't trust this team, even at 2-0 up after 5 minutes, and they go and score twice, and Celtic go and score twice. And it's the same again. 60 minutes against 10 men, and you think, I'm not sure I trust Villa to keep a clean sheet for some reason. Lo and behold, we don't. It's a game we should be winning. There's too many of those games this season where we've had moments where we look absolutely brilliant in games. Every game there's periods where we look fantastic, but we're not strong enough to prevent goals. And that's going to cost us, sadly. Music producer in Prague. WTF was that? That was one of the worst ever Ipswich teams. Spanish player cost us the game, but all of them were playing at 30%. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was. I think it was just a bad moment of defending that cost us, really, and the goalkeeper who's in really inspired form. I think. Am I more annoyed that we didn't concede more? Am I more annoyed that we conceded? I think I'm more annoyed that we conceded, because I'm really, really fed up of watching us concede goals every single bloody game now. I think that's what's more annoying, oddly. I think sometimes you can legislate for a team that goes down to 10 and just sits really deep and defends, and that can be hard to break down. Certainly had the chances to score, though, sadly. Ken M, was we really that bad? I did see the match. We were just frustrating. Carl McClatchy, your lack of respect for fellow Premier League teams is why you're so upset. We battered them but could not kill them off. That's a good thing most weeks. Your lack of respect for the Premier League teams is why you were so upset. We battered them but could not kill them off. That's a good thing most weeks. I don't think I have a lack of respect for the Premier League teams at all. I think I've waxed lyrical about Ipswich quite a lot here and did a whole preview show on them earlier this season where I talked about how well coached and good they are. But they are. And I actually think a lot of their setup is not that dissimilar to Aston Villa, actually, from Kieran McKenna. I think it's. I think it's more. I think Villa do respect other teams. I think it's just a case that defensively we're just not. We're not capable of keeping clean sheets, and I don't know what it is with our defence that leads to that. Austin McPhee, we've scored a lot of set pieces this season, so I think he probably is more of a positive than a negative, I think. Kevin Williamson, Ollie Watkins should not start another game. Well, he got a goal. He does score goals. He gets assists. Whereas with Chris Watkins, I think sometimes when the ball goes up to him, he doesn't hold it up. He drags it up the pitch. He has so many positive aspects. I think if I was to compare him to Liam Delap, I think Liam Delap looks like somebody who grew up as a striker. Because when you knock a ball into his feet or hold it up, I feel like I trust him a little bit more to hold it up. Watkins, you can see was a winger, because I think when it's back to goal, sometimes he just gets the ball taken off him quite a lot. But sometimes when Watkins gets the ball and he's able to turn and charge up the pitch, that's when he can bring a team forward. But he's a top. He's been a brilliant player for us, Watkins. He's getting closer to Gabby's record, isn't he? Is that 70 Premier League goals he's got now, Watkins? Kevin Williamson, Watkins got over 20 goals score over the season and is a bust. Ramsey should not start another game. Yeah, I think that's a bit harsh. I think we're all right. Lee Johnson, how do you draw against 10-man Ipswich? Shaking my head, yeah. Aren't we all, Lee? Siddons was poor, yeah, he was. He was poor. He was. I think he just looked knackered. I think he just looked mentally not sharp. He plays all the time. It's a little bit like the O'Neill thing. There's a couple of players who Unai plays all the time, Rodgers and Tielemans mainly, and there were periods of time under Martin O'Neill where we would do that, and a lot of those players ended up looking quite knackered by February. And there's been games this season where I think Rodgers and Tielemans look a little bit off the pace. I sometimes wonder if that's just the sheer volume of games they play, because they very rarely come off as well. Can respect to Mr. AVP. Am I being really stupid? AVP. You might have to tell me who that is. Sorry about that. I've completely missed that. Unluckily, it says to Lee Johnson. Yeah. Can't actually look at the stats. 25 shots. Yeah, mad. And 2 expected goals. Not enough on target, though. Only 6 on target. Come on, actually, another day that is 4-1, but let's not all go native. Yeah. Another day that is 4-1. But it's another game that we've not seen away. I put the kids to the game on this death by predicting a bid win. Every time I do that, we play crap. Every time, it's never going to do it again. Yeah, do you know the thing I've come to think this season is that I think in my head, Villa will win this game, but we will concede and we will make it hard for ourselves. And it then depends whether we can score enough to win it, or it's going to end up being a draw. I don't think we're going to lose games a lot of the time, at home at least. Even Liverpool and Chelsea I look to this week and think, I think we'll get results, but I don't think we won't concede. So can we score enough to win it? John Reddington, Rashton Asensio has to start next game. I think so. They showed enough, didn't they? Overconstant confidence. Let's face it, there are no easy games. There are no easy games in the Premier League ever. If Palmer was on the Titanic, he'd have saved it, says Matthew Jones. Ipswich Town to say, yeah, I think he would. I think he'd have pushed the boat out of the way of the iceberg for certain. And Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet would have gone on to have a long and happy life together, for sure. Because she would have just sold that necklace, the Heart of the Ocean. How do I know that? A bit too good with my Titanic knowledge, aren't I? Might go watch it tonight and cry. Carl McClatchy, if we play like that against Liverpool, we spank them. Ipswich, Liverpool are not going to come to Villa Park and sit deep. So there might be reason to think that Villa will actually possibly create a few more clear-cut chances because of the nature of how the game will go. And on the break, we'll find a moment where Rodgers gets space and put it into a Rashford or an Asensio or a Watkins who've made a run. And actually, maybe that way actually helps us. But will we hold out against this Liverpool team who always find a way of scoring? I wouldn't put a bet on it. T2 times, one, if not the biggest sickener of the season, feels so gutted about it. Just can't score easy chances. It's bizarre. Yeah, bizarre is a word I would use to describe a lot of this season, particularly our home results. Our home results are really weird, really weird. Too many games we should have won, and we've come away from it being the better team and just not won it. It's bizarre. And then Ipswich fighting for lives. Did they deserve it? I hope, yeah. I mean, you've got to say in the end they do deserve it. I mean, Villa should have won it, but I think Ipswich, you've got to say fair play to them, really. Why is everyone so down? I think it's just another missed chance. And you look at the Premier League table, we're in 9th place, and Europe's creeping away from us, man. It's creeping away, and that could be costly. Kevin Williamson, how the hell Ramsey started Rashford Villa is a joke? I mean, in fairness, like, the shirt is Ramsey's to lose. I think he's been playing quite well recently, and I think, Rashford has to earn it. But the way Rashford came into the game in the second half, the quality showed, he's going to be starting the next game. True Blue. I think it was a great game. Poor ref today. Yeah, the ref, not the worst ref display I've seen recently. Certainly a few decisions that were a bit weird. John McGinn's tackle in the first half, for instance, and he seems to give a lot of weak fouls away, but I've seen a lot worse this season. I'll put it that way. I think Lee Johnson. We're not getting UCL again next season unless we win it. Yep, feels that way right now. How the hell so John? Not so Watkins. Yep. I think there's various reasons for that, probably. Again, because we tried to help out the dog hits. Wolverhampton. Well, Nick Salter, good to see you, Nick. I know you've commented a lot on this channel. Thanks for all the support. We struggle against these lower league sides. New players are helping a lot these low blocks in time. Sadly, I fear it might be too late for this season. That's a perfect way to put it. Yeah, we do lack the ability to break them down. And I think Rashford and Asensio today showed they have the ability to break them down. Today just wasn't the day where it happened. Had they been here from the very start of the season, maybe we'd have a few more points in games we've drawn because we weren't able to break down those low block sides. Maybe. I can't be asked this negativity later as well. It's not negativity. I'm sort of. I think there's sometimes there's moments where you get fans in the stadium who are super negative all the time, and who sit there and just their whole MO is to sit there and just whinge and whine and complain. And you sort of think, why are you here? Why are you at this game? I like to think we're not that. We're definitely not that. I think we've given a totally reasonable and level-headed response to what's going on. And I think rather than it being negative, I think it's a genuine, reasonable, frustrated reaction to the fact that Villa have not beaten a team in the bottom three. We're down to 10 men with 60 minutes. And it's a repetition of what's happened this season. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and dance and praise the team for not winning a game like that. I praised Villa for moments of looking absolutely fantastic, which we do. I think there were moments where Rashford and Asensio looked absolutely magnificent. I was really delighted with with things Garcia showed today. I think Andres Garcia looks like a player who could really become a major asset for Villa. I don't think it's negative to say Villa should have won today, and it's frustrating we didn't win it. That's my opinion. Danny, good. Thanks for your comments as well. I see quite a lot on the channel. Thanks for your support. Mate, you can sign all the attack players you like. If we just can't defend, even previous to our injuries, never rectified. There was a lack of character and leadership. There's something wrong at the back. And as I said in this show earlier, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Because we concede too many of the same types of goals. I have various theories, the composed to casual, the moments in games when we're not awake, when we're just a bit off the pace. Is it something that then the defense are a bit slower to react to things? And I don't know. I don't know what it is. Lee Johnson, Maatson was beaten far too easy for their goal. Yeah, you could say that. Hutchinson's a good player. He's a very good player, but yeah, you could say that. True Blue, Ipswich Town fan, nice to see you here. Thanks for your comment. It would have been interesting if we had a full 11 to play. I said it earlier. I said that if Villa, in that first half, Villa went into this game, it looked like we weren't at the pace. And I thought to myself, I can already feel how this is going to go. We're going to get a sucker punch. Because it didn't look like Villa were really going to break Ipswich down when it was 11v11. I sort of thought in my head then, well, it's going to come to Rashford and Asensio to come on and bail us out, isn't it? Or there's going to be a moment from Rodgers in the second half, and that'll be that. But with all of that, I sort of thought there's a sucker punch coming. And then when it went down to 10 men, I didn't think it would, because I just thought It's a big ask for Ipswich now, but it did. And full credit to Ipswich. Full credit. Erin Pimentel. Good to see you again, Erin. That was embarrassing. I tuned in late for the second half. Didn't realise Ipswich had 10 men until well into it. Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like they were playing with 10 men for large portions of that second half. I mean, they defended really well. They did. Well, I mean, as well as the fact the goalkeeper had an absolute incredible game like he did. You can't take away the goalkeeper was just, he had one of them games. And he got away with it at the start of the game. He could very well have been off, couldn't he, with that touch on Rodgers. I mean, had he just a little bit more, got away with that. I don't think it was a red, but he was very close. Why is it always the bottom teams who struggle against it? I don't know. Again, it's a bit of an Emery thing. It has been over the years where sometimes if teams just set up with defensively, we lack the nous to break them down. Kevin, Villa is a joke this season. Watkins and Ramsey should not start another game. They're poor. Dean and Matson are poor. Tielemans cannot play a double pivot. I think that's a bit unfair. I think it's another. Watkins and Ramsey definitely should be starting games. They're definitely good enough. Dean and Matson, no, I think Dean's had a really good season. Matson, I think, has been quite inconsistent. He had a couple of good games recently, a couple of bad ones. I think today, going forward, he offered a threat, but he didn't. Defensively, Murray Hutchinson got him down his side, didn't he? So, we have to win a trophy. Yeah, could be the case. Rob Hatton, good to see you, Rob. Proved today that Watkins finishing is fine when doesn't have to think about it. Yeah, he's a very instinctive finisher. I think a lot of the goals he scores tend to be when he just snapshot. It's a snapshot or it's a quick reaction. If he's 1-on-1, don't always trust him to finish it. But if he's, that finish today, coming back off the bar as rapidly as it did, was absolutely amazing. It was an amazing finish from Watkins, actually. And a brilliant free kick from Rashford. Brilliant stuff. Kevin Ollie cost us top 4 period for that first Arsenal game until today. We should have sold him. Probably, if we'd had two £65 million bids for Watkins and Duran, there's an interesting argument there that Duran's the younger player. Watkins has missed too many big chances this season. That is certainly been a problem for him, and I'm sure he's extremely frustrated about it. I think if he were to look at his numbers this season, he'd say I should have more because he has missed too many big ones. That is true. In the first half today, he missed a big one again. How is other problem to keep scoring yet? I think Watkins is a great striker, and I don't think we're in the Champions League without him. Simply put, I think he's going to go down as probably our best ever Premier League striker by the end of his time at Villa. And I think the day he goes will be the day we sit there and go, you don't know what you got till it's gone. You don't know what you got till it's gone. Gerald Morris, Ollie is so bad at shooting, it isn't funny. He needs 10 shots to score one. It's ridiculous with our squad and the money it costs. We should be winning 3-0. Yeah, like I say, Watkins, he has missed a lot of big chances this season. That's undeniable. And I'm sure he's going to be massively frustrated with it. And I think there was a stat read out today that Villa third most missed big chances this season. That is why we're not up there and why we can, and on top of it, we concede too many goals. So that's why we're mid-table. Matthew Jones, 2 games for Ipswich. You look better in the first game. Champions League Cup games take its toll. Ipswich fan in peace. Yeah, for certainly, I think the sheer game volume has to have taken a toll. And you look at Newcastle last season. There's too many games this season. It's too Premier League. There's too many games within football. The pace is much more intense. I have never seen this many injury crises at various different clubs ever in my life. I can't remember this many. So it's not a coincidence it's happened in the last couple of years. To teams who are competing in Europe. And Aston Villa have really struggled to perform in Premier League games after the Champions League. So, for sure, it's had an effect. And look at the number of injuries we've had. I mean, Disasi and Kamara. Kamara comes off again. Konsa last week injured. Disasi and Mings. I mean, how many central defensive partnerships have we had this season? And you've got to say as well, that probably is a factor in why Villa have conceded as many as we have because we just haven't had a settled back line. Jogo, the way you guys talk about Ollie is the same as the way United fans talk about Rashford. You guys bought another Ollie. Yeah. No, I really rate Ollie, even though he has missed quite a few big chances, but I really rate him. I think he's a really good striker. 25 games in, nothing has clicked. That was the opportunity to kickstart in the league. Gutless twos from Villa, says Melchus. Can anyone name 4 league games to play well all season? Yeah, I think the way I put it is I can think of lots of moments in games where we've played well. I can't think of many games where we've played well for 90 minutes. And the problem is there's too many games where we play really well, and then for 20 minutes we play really badly and we get sucker punched. And that is it. And I've been waiting for us to get that winning run, to score a goal and go forward, and it's not happened. And I think a lot of Villa fans feel the same way. And it's just very frustrating because I know we should have more points than we do. We're a better team than the position we're in. Tielemans needs a rest. It certainly feels like it a bit at times. The game's done 12. It does. Need something big in the next 2 league games. Could look grim. Yeah. We're just giving ourselves mountains to climb, really. Why not? Cathalo Kane. First shot on goal goes in again. We cannot keep a clean sheet to save our lives, and at the other end, just not clinical through every season. Yep, agree with all that. First shot on target every game. Amazing. It is absolutely amazing that we do that. Amazing. Games on lost so many points, no clearance that we missed Dougie. Yeah, we definitely missed Dougie. He's a brilliant midfielder. We were always going to miss him. No killer instinct. Yeah, we're certainly not scoring as many as we should be. Also, it's Marcus Rush to create the most chances, 4 and complete the most dribbles, 3 of any Aston Villa during the Villa, which say play 45 minutes. Yeah, he had a big impact. We don't score without him, and that goal came about from him. And we really should have scored a second goal. Right at the end when he made that run in, I thought that was the moment that was going to happen, but it wasn't to be. Games on 12. We play like we all the time in the world. We all have all the time in the world. No urgency and lack of pace to attack. Yeah. I think urgency is a word. There are times when I look at Villa and I think look, it's the nature of how we play. We control games. That sometimes I think Villa could turn it up a little bit. I think Ipswich 11v11, they sort of changed after that because they went a bit more direct. But when there was 11v11, I think Ipswich were struggling to play out a lot, and I think we needed to press them a bit harder. But ifs, buts, and maybes, really. Yantonian, Ipswich will lose next 5 games 5-0. Yeah, they've lost a couple of games big. They have. Big loss to, was it Man City 6-0? Newcastle 5-0? Yeah. Every time looks like we have a chance to come to the league, we bottle it. Yeah. I'm not sure. I think bottle is the wrong word. I think it's more we don't have the defensive ability to withstand any kind of we just don't have the concentration levels to prevent ourselves conceding stupid goals all the time. That said, it was a great goal. It was a great predatory strike from Delap. But that said, we should never be conceding ever against a 10-man team that is in the bottom 3. And we should be winning it. How good should leave Villa part of the point? Criminal, frustrating. Yeah, frustrating is the word. Frustrating is the word. Does that King Rashford look good? Points to prove. Yeah, he did. A couple of awry passes, which I think came down to a little lack of sharpness. But when he was at it, my God, he looks really, really quality, doesn't he? Kevin Williamson. The main problem Villa has is no replacement for Doug Luiz. Tielemans can't play double pivot. Tielemans needs to play 10. Rashford played 9. Yeah, I think Rashford as a 9 and Tielemans as a 10 would be very interesting to see. I certainly think they could be very, very threatening. We do miss Luiz. And it comes down to the PSR thing, doesn't it? Selling Luiz and DRB. PSR is kind of 1 step forward and 2 steps back a little bit. Or not, 1 step forward and 1 step back. It's really hard. It's hard to compete with the financial conditions we're working with. Games on 12, Dougie brought a good temper to the side, which we now lack. Maybe Asensio can play a little deeper control the game. I actually thought Asensio on for Tielemans today would have worked as well. I just didn't think Tielemans was at it. I thought he looked a bit knackered. Set piece coach are making me nervous now. They're overthinking if for him to express themselves. Yeah, I mean we're certainly. I think our set piece numbers are good this season. just weren't able to take advantage of it today, really. Sven Schmidt. Problem is we couldn't hit a cow's ass with a banjo. Yeah, we're missing chances, aren't we? No killer instinct. Yeah. Villa might play better if Ipswich had 11 men. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I actually thought Ipswich playing out from the back looked like they were going to make a big mistake. So then when they actually sat deeper and went a bit more direct, they actually looked didn't look as easy to break down, weirdly. Philip Murgatroyd, Ramsey Tillemans need drop in, so does McPhee. Rashford looked amazing. Yeah, I think Ramsey. I said, look, Rashford's going to start over Ramsey next game for sure. Tielemans needs drop. I'd like to see Tielemans' minutes balanced up a bit for sure. I think he just looked knackered today. But he's probably our player of the season though, really, isn't he, Tielemans? Weston, good to see you again, Weston. Frankie, I said exactly the same to my lad. I knew it would score the first goal. Yeah. I don't trust Villa not to concede. Same as you. Richie Ryan, yes, 10 men are always hard to break down. Yeah, that's true. Good team can break down 10 men. Yeah, Villa, bloody hell, we came super close, didn't we? The keeper. It is also a day in which you have to say the goalkeeper was just one of them days. Ipswich deserved their point. We should have been able to break them down. If we can beat 10 men, Ipswich, we won't beat Liverpool and Chelsea. You never know. You never know what might happen against Liverpool and Chelsea. I actually feel we could really do something against both of them. It is often the case that against the lower teams, we don't really get the job done. Stephen 84 midfield was just missing. McGinn and Tielemans were rubbish, and I think Maatsen was shown enough to be shown the door. I don't know. I still think it's time for Maatsen. I think we still need to. He'll be here next season for sure. I think McGinn and Tielemans were. Yeah, I think Tielemans wasn't really at it. I thought that McGinn was fine. I think Tielemans just wasn't at it. Richie Ryan, some saves from Palmer, definitely man of the match for sure. Weston, why do these goalkeepers who play for bottom league clubs come to Villa Park and have the games of their lives every season? Yeah, certainly feels like it. Yeah, I mean, look, we're not gonna come on. Let's not get into arguments and all that. I don't really want to get into any of that. Games on 12. Maybe Emery style doesn't help us when chasing a game. We need to let go of the reins and be more direct. You could argue that some games for sure. Yeah, Philip Murgatroyd, and we need 10 chances to score one. Yeah, that's a frustrating aspect of today. Kevin, players playing in the wrong position period. Tielemans needs to play in 10. Barkley and Kamara need to play double with Rodgers on left, Bailey right. We're certainly having Barkley and Kamara to be there in the centre mid and Tielemans pushing forward. That'd be very nice to see what it could do. Or back Watkins every day of the week. Not a problem. So, yes, Mr. Big Chance. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Watkins is... He's the reason we're in the Champions League. Look at his numbers last season, assists and goals. It was like Mo Salah level. Incredible. Right. Just going to try and get a move on. Lots of comments coming in. First shot on target didn't go in. A CISO shot from range. Yeah, that's true. Said Mike Warrenbold. Yeah, that it was a shot from distance. It was swerving, but yeah, it was a really good effort. Which Ryan Villa damage always done in first half. Too slow a start. Slow passing, lethargic. Yeah, I thought we did start too slow. Dr. Zach, Ipswich shining peace. Pleased with the point. We could have taken 3, but I figure Villa will go on to much better. Must be happy and a rejuvenated Rashford with grabbing points we can. Yeah, I think Ipswich, they're going to fight hard to stay up. They're really giving it a go. Wolves got a game in hand now. You never know. Look, a few seasons ago, I thought Villa weren't going to stay up. When we were on, there was 4 games left in the season, and we were 5 or 6 points behind Watford, and we did it. Who knows? I think Ipswich have enough about them to do it. They do. They're unpredictable in their play. Need to change it more. I think we certainly other teams definitely know how to handle us better than they did a year ago. I think Asensio and Rashford are definitely killer instincts that make things different. Yeah. It's just a shame they're not been here from the start of the season. I think it would have made a difference. We have yet to blow anyone away in the league this season. Does this mean something needs to change? Yeah, it's true. We haven't. I did actually say this before the game. We haven't really won like 3 or 4-0 this season, 3 or 4-1. We haven't really had games like that. Yeah, I certainly think there's something to think about with Villa. Like, there's certainly something to think why we're not doing that. We'll see. How many points remain? 39. Do we need to even have a shot at the European place 2022? Yeah, I mean, we're leaving it so late. I think it's too late now. I think we needed to do. We need to, today was. This is the day you got to do it. And if you're not going to do it now, then when are you? And I just think those teams have crept ahead. And I don't know. I don't know. You never know. You never know. Maybe we can do it, but it's just really frustrating. And Newcastle got a good pace and still in touch with them for the rest of the race. We are. What are they? 3 points ahead of us. Better goal difference to make that 4. I mean, the fact we're on -3 goal difference. I mean, what the hell? Nick Salter, why can we not create chances from corners? Suppose we're one of the better set piece teams. Doesn't feel like it to me. Yeah, quite a few of the last games, I don't feel like Villa have been great from corners, actually. I agree with that. Should never got the cross of the goal. Says Mark Desmond, yeah. Yeah, you could say that Maatson maybe should have done better. You can't always stop them. Sometimes Premier League players can just do it, and Hutchinson's a really good player as well. So, you're kind of hoping the players centrally might do something. I thought Mings looked a little flat-footed for it, but Ramsey not fit. Yeah. Keep the faith, games done. Keep the faith. We'll improve. Hopefully, it won't be less. Yeah, obviously I keep the faith. Knowing Villa, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have a fantastic performance, and I'll be absolutely waxing lyrical again and raving about it. It's just more a case of the same old frustrations are creeping up, and it's really hard not to be annoyed about it. Kevin Jeans, since Rodgers only performs with the big occasion, too sloppy. I'm not sure. I think he just looks knackered sometimes. I think he just looks a bit like he's. They're just games where I feel like he's played a lot. He's played a lot of games. I think it was his 50th game recently, and for Villa. So in a year, he's played 50 games. It's a lot of football, and mentally and physically, it's hard to maintain the levels. If Matson started, would have got behind them rather than Dean's kept turning. So yeah, I actually thought that in the first half. I thought Matson looked a bit more. He would have been a more dynamic fullback to break in behind. Yeah, I think I know what you mean there. He needs to be able to break down his low blocks. So yeah, and Asensio and Rashford look like the players who are going to do it. And another day they would have done. And on another day they'd have been on for 90 minutes and they'd have done it. But Sucheap, non-Tina Pakul, very, very slow. Pass ball around and stop 1 point Villa to fan from Thailand. Hello from Thailand. I have been to Thailand. I've been all around it. Beautiful country. Koh Tao, very beautiful island. Bangkok, great city. Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, love all that. Kanchanaburi, the bridge over the River Kwai, been there. Best food in the world as well. If you've never been, the best food you'll ever have in your entire life, apart from the Balti Triangle in Birmingham, anywhere you go in Thailand. Unbelievable. Very slow, pass ball around. Yeah, it was slow build-up, and I would criticise the first half. 11v11, I thought we looked just off the pace. I mean, it just looked like we were asking for trouble. Joey Cusack, feel like we have become a cup team. We compete for big moments, but lack consistency. Our goal difference is appalling. Needs 2 goals to beat again minimum to win, which is unsustainable and realistic. I agree with all that, Joey. I think being a cup team is, yeah, yeah, I see what you mean there. I think that's a good statement. We compete for big moments, yeah, and the goal difference is appalling. We've got to find a way of sorting that out. We've got to find a way of just winning games 2-0. Like, not every single game feeling like we're going to concede. It's just mad. Mark AV, put pressure on us beating Liverpool now. Yeah, it does. J1, -3 goal difference says it all. We have been poor in the league today. Sums it up. I wouldn't say poor in the league. I think poor's harsh. With top half. I think we've been wildly inconsistent and frustrating defensively, and I think you could argue we've been poor defensively. I think that's fair, but I think as a team, I don't think we've been poor. But I just think we're just not consistent enough. Please like and subscribe. By the way, as I say, please subscribe. It helps this channel podcast grow and grow and grow. I love doing this. I love chatting to everybody. I love meeting Villa fans. It's brilliant, and it just helps us with keep being able to keep doing this. Kevin Williamson team to start against Liverpool. Martinez, Garcia, Disasi, Mings, Dean, Kamara, Anana, Bailey, Tielemans, Rogers, Rashford. Yeah, we'll find out about Anana. God only knows what his injury is. Bit of a worry this with Anana. I'm a bit worried about him and his injuries because not sure. I think you're right about Dean should start. Yeah, because I think in games where they'll have to be the more defensive side, I think Dean's more reliable. I think against Mo Salah, that'll be the side it's on. I think Dean is a play probably want over Maatsen. Bailey, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what his injury is. If anyone has an update, I'm not sure. Same with Anana. I don't know what the deal is. I'd start Rashford and I'd be tempted to start Asensio, but maybe you'd save Asensio because you think if we need somebody to come on and just change it up a bit, he probably is that player. Lenrud, it takes time to form a great team. We're building that sort of game we would have lost a few years ago. We will get there. I like your thinking, Led. I think that's very true. It's easy to lose sight of where Villa are. And, I think it's because of the standards Unai Emery has set in the last 2 years, is why, 2 years ago, a game like this, drawing it, you're probably not that frustrated. You're frustrated, but you're thinking, all right, it can happen. I think it's more a case of we know the level we are now. We know where we can get to. But as you say, we are building a team, and Unai Emery is here until 2029. So we've got to remember that the journey isn't always going to be it's not always going to be up the mountain, is it? You're going to have to take, at times it is going to go like that. It's the choppy sea. Sometimes you get a bit of a down before the next up. I think my worry, though, if we don't get Europe, look at the revenues last season created by even the Conference League. So if we're not able to get Europe, it slightly concerns me about what it means for Villa. Revenue-wise, with the sort of players we can attract and retain. That said, Newcastle had a similar issue. They fell out of Europe, didn't they, this season? It's probably helped them in getting back into the top 5 as they are currently, top 6, wherever they are. Competing, getting to final the Carabao Cup. But it then puts an onus on us then to get Europe absolutely next season, because then if you don't, well, yeah, I think we need to be a team that's in Europe regularly, because Tottenham and Man United are not always going to be like this. They're going to sort themselves out because they have the financial advantages. Maybe not United at this very moment in time, but Tottenham do with their revenue system. So they're going to work their way back at some point. Same with Chelsea. So yeah, it feels like we've got to take the chances when they come. Kevin Jeans, goalies have worldies against us. It's Bournemouth and Ipswich now, both are sensational. That is true. I'm sick of slipping up against teams. Yeah, same. It's frustrating because, like I say, Villa, a lot of games I should have won, really. Can't defend being like that for a long time. Same preseason friendlies, says Pressbury 93. Yeah, defensively, we're not at it. We're just not at it. We can't defend. We can't keep clean sheets. I don't know what it is. I said it earlier. I just do not know. Kevin Bailey, as an Ipswich supporter, hello to you, Kevin. Come in peace. I think you're struggling to juggle Premier League, Champions League. Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. I think it's a repeat of what happened with Newcastle last season a little bit. It certainly is. It's not easy. Well, I mean, I think the sheer game volume we've had, and yet again, it's the start of March. We've got Liverpool move forward to midweek. Then we have Chelsea. Then we have Palace midweek. Then we have Brentford away. Then we have a Champions League game and another Premier League game. I mean, like, why is the Liverpool game just not later this season? I mean, I haven't seen the argument for it. Villa clearly wanted it moved, as we've seen yesterday in the press reports. So Villa felt there was a case to move it, and yet, I mean, look, this is a point on wider football. The number of injury crises we've seen in recent years, the sheer volume of games we have. We've got this tournament coming up in the summer now, Club World Cup. The sheer number of games in football, the Champions League being expanded to 2 extra games again for financial reasons, for the teams who argued for it, generally the top teams who want more money. The quality of football is going to be diluted. And there's a real danger that we eat ourselves. Villa, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal now, Newcastle last season, Manchester City a little bit this season. Every single one of them has had an injury crisis at some point. And some have had the injury crisis longer. Villa, and I would say for 2 straight years, have had an injury crisis. Tottenham, pretty much from now over a calendar year, consistent injury crisis. Some teams have the financial PSR ability to deal with it better than others can. Manchester City can go and spend 150 million quid in January to bail themselves out. Chelsea have had 2 years, have been an absolute joke, but they've been able to spend £1 billion so they can get themselves out of trouble. Even though they have been a joke and don't deserve to be in Europe because of the way they've been, but they're going to get themselves out of trouble because the money talks at the end of the day. And Villa are not in that situation. So it is just harder for us. And I mean, the fact we've had to sell Diaby, Duran, and Luiz says it all. It is frustrating. But good luck to Ipswich, Kevin. Kieran McKenna's a top coach. Kevin Williamson, every time Villa, we should score 2 goals. It feels like we need to get 2 goals because we always concede. Games on lackluster this season, no energy and no killer instinct. Not sure why. Obviously, I think the volume of games is a factor. I think there's a structure, but I don't think the volume of games explains why we concede all the time. There's a structural issue, or there's a player personnel issue, or there's a concentration issue. It's a combination of 3, or it's one more than the other. I do not know the answer to that. I'm not paid the big bucks, so I don't know. I just do not know why it is. Kevin Rogers deserves criticism. He seems to get a pass for the fan base. See Rogers too inconsistent. I think he's just played a lot, and I think he looks like he's played a lot of the time. Rogers is a fantastic player, but yeah, I think there's been a games this season where he's not been at it. He's very young. He's going to be inconsistent at times. He's still learning his trade because he's so new to the Premier League. He's just been there a year, and as I say, he's still young. But yeah, there's certainly been games where he's not been at it, but that's just a part of his learning process. Presbyterian 93 defence coaching needs some serious upgrading. Well, something needs to change defensively because we keep bloody conceding. We need a good performance change in mindset. We need a good 4-0 win at some point, don't we? Dennis Farrell, Rogers overdoing it again. I think you could argue he does sometimes. He looks almost a little bit like he's indulging it a bit. But it's the nature of how he plays that we find a way through more often, a lot of the time, because of his inspiration, I guess. Games on 12. We need Champions League. The earning to weekly wage is 98% unsustainable. Yeah, the wage numbers I've seen quoted are frightening. And more sales this summer. Russia's wages, I think he should start. Show glimpses. It was a tremendous shot that led to the equaliser. Yeah, I think if he starts today, I dare say we win it. Brett Riverboat, these results are now unacceptable with the level of investment put into the club. We've been abject for every year in the league. I think, Brett, I think abject is an unfair word. Like I say, I think we're a really good side. We have moments where we look fantastic. I think the word is inconsistent. I think the word is defensively poor. Defensively not good enough. I think that's something we absolutely should now be criticising because we simply aren't good enough defensively. We concede all the time. If we don't get Europe, says Nick, it'll be good and bad. Less games, few injuries, better chance of doing well in the league. Flip side, less revenue, not as attractive top players who come join us. Yeah, exactly. It's catch-22. 16 corners, says Dennis, and wasted half of them with the obvious short pass. God, do we have 16? It felt like we had 1 million corners. Do we have 16 of them today? Bloody hell. Wow. 16. And you're right. I mean, it never felt at any point we were going to score from them. Didn't. Games on, we're stepping back and look, we have played 8 Champions League games, we're only still 5 points away from Champions League positions. That is true. That is true. Exact. Kevin agrees. That is very true. And playing Champions League, it's the highest level. Matthew Dawson, calm down doing the Emery Elms. The FA Cup is ours this season. Yeah, why not? We can do it. We can do it. Why not? In case you don't know, Delap and Rogers used to live together. Says Kevin. Yeah, I get the good knowledge. Didn't know that. Man City players come through that. How many brilliant players come through Man City? It is incredible how many have. Only a couple more left. Kevin, I've been ranting. Sorry, guys, these games we won last year. Yeah, I think I can understand the frustration. I can understand why we're all frustrated. Let's not be too harsh. Don't be too harsh on players. Let's never, ever, this is not somewhere we're going to be having a go at individual players and everything. I think ultimately they are doing the best they can. It's just unfortunate. I think there's an issue defensively, and we're just not scoring as many as we were last season, and we're conceding more than we did last season, and it's costing us. So there we go. I mean, look, I think I'll wrap it up there. We've been going over an hour now. Wow, these reactions do fly by. Thank you so much to everybody who's commented. I really appreciate it. It's frustrating. I'm going to probably walk around staring into the distance, wondering what can I do. What can I do to make myself happy? As the cause said, what can I do to make you love me? Frustrating, isn't it? Because Villa, this is what we are now. We're a Champions League team, and we want to stay there, and we want to keep competing, and we want to ensure that the teams that have been there regularly, the so-called Big Six, look around and go, Aston Villa's here now. I don't think if we don't get Europe, I don't think it's the end of the world, but it's a pretty big setback. Just a couple more have come in there. Chelsea, Forest, Newcastle home games we need to win. Other teams drop points, says Kevin. Yeah, but they are all games we need to win. And I mean, if we win them all, who knows? But it just feels like it's too late. I just look at the league table and I think, man, we left it so late now to really get. I mean, Europe's doable, but Champions League, which could be top 5 this season, with 5 points off Bournemouth. I mean, still it's doable. But the amount of points we've dropped this season that could have got us in that top 4. It's a real problem. And you look at Villa and you think, are we going to keep enough clean sheets to ensure to get top 5? I'm not sure, to be honest. But look, keep the faith. You never know this Villa team. Rashford and Asensio showed enough today. If they keep starting games, we'll score more than we have been. Daniel Harley's scoring against low block wasn't the issue today. He scored and should have had 2 or 3. The problem is at the back, sitting against next year 0.3 or similar is a massive issue. That is a very good point, Daniel. We concede all the time. And as I said multiple times today, you can't trust Villa not to concede. Sick of Mings, Dean to Mings. I see what you mean at times, but it's the way we play. We're so much better when teams attack us, so thrive in transition. That's really true. You saw against Tottenham. And like I say, that's why I'm almost slightly more confident about Liverpool and Chelsea. Because they'll come at us, and Chelsea at the moment, would you bet against Villa scoring 4 goals against them, the way they're playing, and us on transition, and them trying to come at us and us hitting them on the break? I wouldn't bet against it, and I wouldn't bet against us scoring a couple against Liverpool either. Will we not concede against them? I'd bet against that. Apparently, Kamara injury is bad, according to United. Really? I hope that's not true. Not that I'm doubting you. Oh, dear. Oh, God. I mean, injury-wise, mad. Dr. Zach, Ipswich fan. Good luck rest of the season, Champions League. Thank you so much, Zach. It's great to have you here. Thank you so much for the nice words. And I say Ipswich, really well coached. I think Leif Davis is a bit of a miss. Big fullback he is going forward. Offers a lot. Amari Hutchinson and Liam Delap, quality players, Premier League players. Hutchinson, I think. Hutchinson could get to a good level in the Premier League. Liam Delap looks like he's going to the very top. He's a top striker. Something a little bit Kane-ish about him at times. It's just quality. If Villa went for him, bloody hell, I'd be skipping, rip my shirt off here, and you'd all unsubscribe for it because you'd be like, "What the hell am I looking at here? That is offensive." Don't get that on full Liverpool McGrath, do you? God, Kevin Bailey. To be fair, that was a great finish by Delap as opposed to poor defending. It was a brilliant finish. It was brilliant play from him. Great predatory stuff. You can't write off a team that has him up front from getting a goal, but still. We're playing 10 men. Kevin Jeans to Sassi looks solid. Yeah, he had a good debut. Yeah, he did have a good debut. Problems double pivot position. Kamara and Barkley should start there. Tielemans playing 10. Well, Kamara and Barkley are injured. Yeah, so. John Speed, why is Kamara's match centre back when Mings available? I think it was probably the sheer volume of games we've got coming up. I wonder if Emery thought, right, let's ease Mings into it because we want Mings starting against Liverpool and Chelsea, and we can start Kamara in centre midfield. And lo and behold, he gets bloody injured. Oh, well, disastrous results, said Rosser. Don't think you can dress it up as anything less. It's a bad result. It's a bad result. You play 10 men, bottom 3, 60 minutes. It's a bad result. Villa Punter season slowly slipping away. I mean, look, we're still Champions League. And we're still in contention for Europe in the Premier League, and we're still in the FA Cup, so there's still lots to play for. We have to go right to the end in the Premier League for sure, because if we do go on a good run, if we do manage to, get a few more wins than draws that we've been getting, it can get us up to 6th, 5th, 6th, potentially. I think the top 4 is going to be, unless Forest really cave in, could do. Lost today, didn't they, to Fulham? But I think the top 4 is going to be Liverpool, Arsenal, City, and probably Forest. Bournemouth, I mean, wow, the form they're in, it's fantastic, isn't it? But then you've got Chelsea, Newcastle, Fulham, Brighton, Villa, all of them very inconsistent. You wouldn't trust any of them at the moment to get top 6. So it's the team that finds the form. And if Villa find it, there's a chance. With Rashford and Asensio, maybe they're the difference maker, maybe. But I just think we've dropped too many points at home. I really do. Kevin James can't agree to slip away yet. Agree? Yeah, exactly, Kevin. That's how I feel. It's not slipping away yet. So Villa points. I understand what you're saying, but no, still a lot to play for. Respect. Seems like it should be meat and drink for us if we have aspiration against another very disappointing. Yeah, there's no easy games in the Premier League. Kieran McKenna's a very good coach. But Ipswich are in themselves. I mean, if you look at their recent form, I mean, God, wow. They've lost almost all of their most recent games by 1 win. If you want Champions League, you've got to be winning that, particularly when they're down to 10 men. Anyway, look, I've gone on long enough. I will end it now. Thank you so much, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Please share, all that sort of stuff. Let me know what you think. Please comment down below for when you watch this later. And I'll get back to you. But Liverpool and Chelsea to come. More of this to come. Frustrating, isn't it? We are the mighty Villa. The better days ahead. So we're not always going to be, straight ahead. But Ben 76, try and put some more positive on it today. We gain ground, Chelsea, Forest, Newcastle. Yeah. If we're going to end on a positive, think of it like that. Thanks, Ben. Anyway, up the mighty Villa.